Oh, Lorraine, man. Hello, Miss Culver. Hello, Barbie. Hello, Gurgle Sings. Evening. Hello, Commander of the Camaros. Hello, Hoops and Squirrel. And hello, Dead Like Me. The Twitchster, no reents. Yep, Trump to speak at 9 Eastern. The overwhelming opinion of my contacts is. Jerry, yeah, I know you now. You want to know what my contacts are saying and what he's going to say. I keep hearing stimulus check in the first quarter of 2026. I wish I was hearing something differently, but I'm not. Let's see a little humor, and then we're going to dive into some news so we can keep this one a little short and be ready for whiskey and wisdom. We have a big one this evening. We are going to be, well, I'd say broadcasting live, but Mike will be live. The Mushroom Ladies will be live, and they'll be joining us from a holiday light show. We'll tell you all about it at 8 Eastern. All right, what did Gary say? Newsflash, man was arrested and charged with killing a man with sandpaper. The man claims that he only intended to rough him up a little bit. Hello, Mr. Schultz. Always a pleasure. Did anyone that was involved with the Kuwait have to pay taxes? Jake, I keep meaning to ask that question. I don't think so. I got two direct sources and a number of friends that I know. Well, how do I put that? That direct friends of mine know personally. So I'll ask them all. I should have asked that before. So I think you may have been the person to ask that, and I dropped the ball on you. Anybody in here, if you did, well, you probably shouldn't post that if you did partake, because people might be knocking on your door. I don't know. If you got a good different YouTube handle that isn't going to give away who you are, have at it. Lisa Little, there you go. That is the prevailing story. Lisa is sharing that Tucker Carlson said he talked to someone in Congress, and they were briefed yesterday on going to war with Venezuela. There's the short of it. Trump to announce war with Venezuela tonight. President Trump's expected to announce plans to launch a war with Venezuela this evening when he addresses the nation at 9 p.m. A high-placed source on Capitol Hill has told antiwar.com. Guys, I'm hearing that from staffers on both sides of the aisle, both Republicans and Democrats. I have been told that many Democrats support, but that they may vote for or against, depending on if they think it has enough votes. In other words, if they think it has enough vote, we're still going to go. They may vote no, so they claim, oh, no, I voted against that, even if they secretly are pushing for it. That was coming from my friends on the left side of the aisle in D.C. Road Sailor, I don't think the banks are going to send us a 1099 after the exchange. That's my personal opinion. Don't think it's a taxable event. Why would they need to? That's my personal opinion. We won't know till we get there. It is not set in stone. Definitely my opinion. No word on the Bolivar price. Wish I had something to tell you, but I do not. Good evening, Karen. Hello, Carol. Would that affect us going? I do not believe that would affect us going. I believe this is going to be forced no matter what, because the world needs it so badly. Mainstream tonight said it's about the insurance issues or the possibilities. They did have 4 Republicans jump ship today and vote with Democrats to try to force a vote on extending the Obamacare subsidies for 3 years. The only way I'm okay with that is if maybe we got med beds and it's not going to matter. Tony, MarkZ, what's the difference between snow women and snow men? Snowballs. That's a classic. I think we all told that one in middle school. Question mark, if we end up not having to do taxes in spring, will that mean Nasara's happened, or is it unrelated? Could be unrelated. Most likely would mean Nasara happened. And it is running. The bond news, the only bond news, if you read the description today, it would have shared that for you. Overwhelming majority of sources gone dead silent. One who had a meeting today has moved to tomorrow. That is the only one that has responded this week. The rest of them have disappeared off the face of the planet. Let's see. Thomas Ziegler. Listening this morning to you and Andy, do you think the metals could be an indication to where the markets are going? And is it a key to where we stand? Very much so. It's telling us the story because they are trying to move to, well, they have to. Every time fiat currency has crashed previously in history, which is every time it's ever been used until now, which just means it's a matter of time, we have temporal bias because for so many years it's worked for us. It's how we functioned. We don't really think through how much value it has lost. So we're looking through rose-colored or fiat-colored glasses. But the reality is, if you back up a few feet and you look at history from a broader, longer perspective, you'll see what happens. And when I say modern history, the last few thousand years, whenever fiat crashes, it goes back to metals and commodities. What are we watching right now? We're watching commodities and metals just lockstep moving up. Tale as old as time, just watching, like Voltaire said. Fiat always returns to its intrinsic value of zero. The average person gets caught holding the bag, and those that prepared or the elite that owned real assets come out way ahead. Tale as old as time. What time are president on tonight? Yeah, see, Nana, even if you voted for somebody else, he's still your president. I mean, he won the election. He is on at 9 p.m. Eastern, 9 p.m. Eastern. Remember though, folks, it is rare that Donald Trump is on time. Very rare that he is on time. So hopefully he does it at 9, but just be prepared in case he's got something else going on. Now, let's get into some news. We're going to do this one fairly quickly so that I can get a short break before whiskey and wisdom, because I am very much looking for that. So Tucker just outed the leakers in Congress, or I did. I don't know. Pick one. I mean, it wasn't like they were told, well, they didn't sign anything. It wasn't top secret information. So I guess they're allowed to share it all they want. I am told we're being paid with new money, not fiat, Robert, and that is one of the largest reasons it has taken so long, because they felt like if they paid us, especially for CMKXers, they felt like the money would be, they would simply do a ping and tap and we'd lose our money. Sucks. But if that's true, I'm glad they did it this way. All right, let's get into news. Al Sudani, the government directs to review the financial and economic aspects to raise the efficiency of oil sectors. What does this mean? This means during their lame duck period in their government, now that elections are done and somebody else hadn't taken care of, they are taking full advantage of the time to clean up any inefficiencies when there's not a politician there that can get in their way. So the people that are ensconced, the bureaucracy that believes they need to clean it up, they have free reign to clean things up before the 29th when Parliament sits again, and they're taking full advantage of it. Caretaker Iraqi government cuts spending, fueling debate. In other words, what are you going to do, fire us? We only have this much time left. We're going to clean up as much as we can. Boy, this is exactly what I would do if we were about to reset. Allah. We succeeded in increasing foreign reserves and curbing inflation. In other words, we have put ourselves in a very good position. And we have made major changes. Get ready. Buckle up. So as I'm watching these, talking about the regional platforms, Allah has spoken a number of times recently about the dinar joining a basket of currencies from their area. It's what Kuwait did. And then what happened? They revalued, their value went through the roof. Love reading some of the articles out of Iraq over the past week or two. They're not flashy, but they are full of substance for those that are reading them. Official reassurance to Iraqis, financial liquidity is available. Stop with all the crazy press out there. Saleh says, hey, short of some serious new liquidity crisis, don't you be worried. We have the foreign currency reserves. We have reduced the amount of currency in circulation. We are ready. We knew that one was coming, or I knew that one was coming. They've been telling us over and over and over. Hello, Miss Shaw. I know I'm going quickly. What did the floor say to the Christmas tree? Your balls are hanging. Oh, y'all are killing me tonight. Killing me tonight. Now let's get over to another big release today. We've talked about this in the last day or two and expectations that this was coming. We do not have a reason yet. I have my opinions. You have your opinions. Many have their opinions. Dan Bongino to resign as FBI deputy director. I believe he's realized just how entrenched and screwed up it is. And there's a really good chance that he misses his family. There's a really good chance he misses his income. I mean, he had one of the most successful podcasts on the planet. He was probably making millions of dollars a year, and he stepped down to make what, 170,000 a year. So you can go from making millions, taking care of your family, watching your young children grow up, wife you adore, to go get shit on every day in DC by a bureaucracy that has their heads so far up their butts that they can't see straight. Dan, I don't blame you. Look forward to having you back on the air. Are you going to stick with 11 a.m.? Because I was really thinking first of the year of moving our time slot. But if you're going to be there, guess we're not moving our time slot. Had a task completed. Trump says Bongino wants back to his old show. I don't believe him. I believe he was far more effective at affecting public opinion in a positive way. In other words, getting truth out there. I think he was far more effective as a podcaster than he was as deputy director of the FBI. Maybe chief of police in DC. Phil, I guess you mean Phil G, says Bongino will go to the CIA. I do not think you're going to see him go to the CIA. I think you're going to see him go back to his real life. I'm just reading. So you guys are on it tonight. Let's see. Good evening, Mark. This morning, you and Andy were talking about major companies going into Mexico. When we were talking about them going into Mexico, Putz Mama, we were referring to them going directly to the silver mines to purchase silver. We weren't talking about them moving their operations or anything like that. We were referring to a number of larger corporations, rather than by the COMEX, rather than by all those, are now going directly to the mines and the countries with those mines to purchase. They're cutting out the middlemen because they are terrified that they're going to lose their resources and not be able to continue manufacturing. In other words, it could bankrupt most of these companies. That's why they went. Do I think the Mexican peso will revalue? Yes. I don't think it'll be a huge change, though. So what do you want to run with? One that might, go from the $50 investment might bring you a couple hundred, or $50 investment might bring you $52. You think about that one? Thoughts on that one? Dan 6 Radio. I don't know. I thought he was daggone efficient in his podcast. I like that. He wants to be able to tell the truth again. Kathy, for those that believe in a reset, those that believe in fiscal responsibility, this morning's podcast with Andy was classic gold. They'll probably show clips of that thing 100 years from now as it was spelled out and put in front of everybody's face. That was, I know a lot of people are like, oh, he's long-winded. Pay attention. So many things Andy and I talk about, 2 weeks later, you guys will send me a news clip of somebody else talking about, going, oh my God, have you heard this? And I'm just sitting here going, geez, anybody listening? We already talked about it. He was there you go. He was a rock star. He was a rock star, on fire, spelling out a reset, spelling out what Trump has done to arrange one. He spelled out the controlled demolition of the old system. He, in a nutshell, told us, in his opinion, that Donald Trump, with little help and some help that he has forced to the table, kind of like a Jamie Dimon or whatever, they were taking on the world's banking and the European banking establishment. He's taking on the Rothschild banking system to replace it with something with assets. I mean, when he laid it out today, I'm surprised I didn't hear the cheerleaders from Kansas. He was killing it. He told it straight up. He rolled with it. He's the University of Precious Metals. He is. Yeah, it was very encouraging for those that want to pay attention. Boy, did he spell it out. All right, just one or two more quick ones, guys, and I'm going to take a short break before Whiskey and Wisdom. Whatever Dan decides to do, I wish him the best of luck. Dan, if you would like to announce your intentions live, I invite you here on the original MarkZ anytime you want to join us. Tell us what you're going to do. We would enjoy it. All right, let's get to JD Vance. Vance fires back at a media smear. I only believe in conspiracy theories that are true. This one was great. In a brazen attempt by legacy media to sow discord within the Trump administration, Vanity Fair dropped a so-called exclusive interview with White House Chief of Staff Susie Wiles, cherry-picking her words to paint Vice President JD Vance as some wild-eyed conspiracy theorist, but Vance didn't back down. He turned the tables, reminding everyone how many conspiracies turned out to be stone-cold facts, suppressed by the deep state and their press lapdogs. Here's some just pure gold, guys. I highlighted it for us. Speaking in Pennsylvania, Vance faced a reporter from the Washington Post, I know, WAPO, head on about the conspiracy theorist label. Far from dodging, he owned it with precision, listing theories that proved prophetic while mocking the media's complicity and real cover-ups. Let's be very, very detailed. What did he say? These are Vance's words. Sometimes I'm a conspiracy theorist, but I only believe in the conspiracy theories that are true, Vance declared. He added, and by the way, Susie and I have joked in private and in public about that for a long time. Vance didn't stop there. He rattled off examples that hit like truth bombs. For example, I believed in the crazy conspiracy theory back in 2020 that it was stupid to mask 3-year-olds at the height of the COVID pandemic, that we should actually let them develop some language skills. Then he hammered the Biden cover-up. I believed in this crazy conspiracy theory that the media and the government were covering up the fact that Joe Biden was clearly unable to do the job, and on the weaponization of justice. And I believed in the conspiracy theory that Joe Biden was trying to throw his political opponents in jail rather than win an argument against his political opponents. Whoa, boy, I tell you, JD's batting 100 here. Batting 1,000, I should say. Wrapping it up, Vance delivered the knockout. So at least on some of these conspiracy theories, it turns out that a conspiracy theory is just something that was true 6 months before the media admitted it. Heavy hitter, guys. Boom. Boom. And this one, speaking of conspiracy theories, 4 days later. 4 days later. Anger mounts as the investigation into Brown University shooting runs into ongoing hurdles. No identifiable suspect. Actually, I think we have an identifiable suspect that Brown University is hiding. That is my personal opinion. We don't know yet. We don't have all the facts. Everybody's innocent until proven guilty. I can have my opinion, though. There are so many bizarre anomalies. 800 cameras, don't have access. 4 days later, if anybody might have covered something on their Ring or personal cameras, let us know. But we do. We have a very interesting footage of this one individual, Mustafa, an LGBTQ Palestinian. Yeah, I don't have the heart to tell them they throw him off a roof if he got there, or her, him. I don't know. I don't want to presume somebody's gender, because I would use science and chromosomes, and that's really offensive, I've heard. 4 days into it, let's see. Let's crank this one up. No security footage. Now, maybe there's some speculation about Karavuch calling it a dangerous road, denying any ethical political motivation. but they seem to be protecting and hiding this person, even though the gate match is 97.8. Giving you a 97 point. Do you have any idea how many people have been convicted with a far, far lower match than that? I think it's worth at least having a conversation. Find out. Maybe there's already an excellent alibi. Maybe they can quickly prove, and then we can all go down a different road. We were told the shooter shouted something. They won't tell us what, but the shooter shouted something to the whole group, but they've somehow buried that one. The shooter looked at other people, chose not to shoot them, but did choose to shoot the vice president of the Young Republicans Club on campus that was there. Poor young lady. I am certain the family deserves some kind of answers. Just a young, lovely young lady at the beginning of her life. Brown University Republican Club VP Ella Cook's family deserves answers, and I agree. It is all about the children. They deserve answers. Brenda, see, I agree with you. Womb or prostate really is pretty simple. Really pretty simple. I do know, guys, I do know that there is, a 1 in a million chance that they could have sexual organs of both. I get that. I do. But are we going to take a fraction of 1% and make the entire rest of the world deal with that one and change everything for it? I think that would be the ultimate level of narcissism for those folks to think that we need to. I mean, come on. I don't expect every car maker in the world to change how they make cars just because I use a wheelchair. It's not rational. It's not in any kind of logical thinking world. That is not logical. That every vehicle from here on out should be built just for handicapped people. And you folks that aren't handicapped, you should just deal with it. Go get you a chair that you can roll around in so you still fit in the car. That's stupid. That's the world we live in. All right, folks, that's what I wanted to cover. To me, it's very sad. My heart breaks for this young lady and their family and for all of the victims in that shooting. And I believe Brown University and the police need to do better. They owe better to the people. Knight who says 9 regarding Bongino. More interesting questions going to be who will replace them. I wonder if they'll call me. Maybe a pay cut for Dan. Bit of an increase for me. Yeah, shouldn't have said that. They're going to be wanting to pass a wheelchair law now. For anybody that wants to, we are going to have a very laid back and enjoyable whiskey and wisdom here in about 35 minutes. I had a little fun today in the kitchen, guys. I made Japanese, including ginger sauce from scratch. It was enjoyable. It didn't take long, but I stuffed myself. It was good, though. Surprisingly, a cheap meal to fix, too. All right, that's it. I'm out of here. I will see anybody that's joining for Whiskey and Wisdom. If there's any breaking news, guys, I can imagine that if Trump does indeed declare war or tell us that Congress is declaring war, whatever that announcement is, it's probably going to make for a very interesting morning tomorrow morning. Ginger sauce. Ginger. And I don't mean it's made up of redheads. But see you guys at the hangout.